fortunes of governance favored loyal John Ladenburg. Friends and kinsmen flocked to his ranks. Young followers were a force that grew to a mighty team. So his mind turned to golf building. He handed down orders for men to work on a great golf course meant to be a wonder of the world forever. Far and wide through the world I've heard his invitation to challenge his new course, and soon it stood there, finished and ready, in full view. Chambers Bay was the name he set upon it, and there his utterance was law. From now on every day, we hear the din of the loud banquet, the guitar being struck, and the clear song of a skilled poet telling of the heroes of our game, and of man's beginnings in this place, how the Almighty had made the earth of towering mountains and gleaming plain, girded by tall trees and vast waters to adorn his splendors. And through the landscaper's art, quickened our walk with play, and let us breathe fresh. Now let us struggle in the royal and ancient way, playing with club and ball our game of golf. Come now, join us in pleasure about our holy fields. And at Round's End, a place of refuge and the hearth ablaze, beckons the weary who struggled with man and nature on the plain below. We are the wisest to enjoy life's short holiday at the great links of Chambers Bay. I want to work on the mental game. If I can get into your mind, I can get in the top of your backswing. The person I give the most credit to is Ron Reed. So he was a Western director, and he would go around the clubs, and they had other services like agronomy. And so he would get very friendly with people like John Bodenheimer here, who did the home course. The USGA had never held an open championship in the Pacific Northwest. For years, they were looking to do that. Finally, he came up here, and he saw this site. If you stand out here, it was ugly. It was an industrial site, but it was on Puget Sound. You could see the Olympic Mountains, had the scenery for television, and the Mount Rainier behind you in the distance, but it was a mess.
It was a gravel mine. They completely scooped out a tremendous amount of gravel to build so much of the Pacific Northwest, but it doesn't look like it originally looked at. We talk about building golf courses in the classic era of, finding the golf course in its topography. The thing about Chambers Bay was it was really just a sandbox. It was an opportunity to create something really special in this sand mine and try to tie it back into the environment around it and make it feel like it was a part of it. But truthfully, this never looked like this. The flip side is, this is the only place you could create something like this.
So we put in a bid. 51 other architects also put in a bid. They narrowed it quickly to, I think, 8 or 10 people, and then finally down to 2, and we got the nod. Not because we responded to the RFP, we did, but we also gave them not a 36-hole course, which was what the RFP said, but an 18 championship goal, and we handed out bag tags that said, U.S. Open 2030, I think. Well, we beat it by 15 years. And our team got that because John Ladenheimer is an athlete himself, and he wanted a purpose-built course to aim at the top. People say, how do you design? I said, I learned the characteristics of the land. And then you have to do something which I do all the time, which is walk the land. Don't ride the land, except maybe on horseback. And you want to feel the land through the soles of your feet, because the game of golf, properly played in competition, is walking. So you walk the land, you feel the changes of the elevation, and it is not about the views. It is about the shot making.
I teach people, hey, just get in Robert Trent Jones's head here. Figure out why he choked neck to you on hole 5, the bottleneck, and why you have this little Redan feature on hole, the green here, and using that and get inside the architects. There's a wide open fairway at 250 yards, but if you want to hit 280, it's 20 yards wide. Take what he gave you and then go challenge, the other easier holes.
Even on the tee, which are uneven on purpose, so that you have an option. Do I tee it up and hit a, let's say, a draw on the 14th hole? That might work better. But if you're left-handed, now the ball's below your feet. So even where you place the tee within the markers, you have to think about it. It's not automatic.
I tell people it's actually a pretty easy golf course if you can hit the fairway and you know how to putt. But once the wind picks up, if you get into the bunkers, you get into the fingers, the islands, you never know what you can get, and people get pissed at me as the head pro about your bunkers aren't raked. I'm like, well, they're waste areas, and your greens are difficult. I'm like, well, without those two features, this course is actually pretty easy.
We did the layout several times. This is not the original layout. We even changed it as we were constructing, and think of it as a superstructure of your body. It's the skeleton, okay? You can work out, make your muscles stronger, and hit the ball farther, but you can't change the skeleton. You got to get that right, or the rest doesn't work. But it's also true in the routing. So we tried to bring forward the traditions of a links course near the ocean, open to the winds and changing weather of a maritime climate.
In Scotland and Ireland, but really Scotland, the links land is literally the link between the ocean land, the beach, and the arable land, the farmland. And between the two is this land that can't be used for farming, but really isn't beach. That's the links land. It links the two together. This place, because it's degraded, it has similar qualities to the links land in Scotland. It's land that you can't put a farm here, and it's not a beach, but it's got a great in-between use, and that's golf.
Golf is a very mental game. I call it outdoor chess. You have to think ahead. It's not outdoor checkers. It's not simple. You have to think through 18 holes before you start playing. And therefore, the more familiar you are with the options that are within it, the more you can plan your attack. And if you're a complex thinker, I give you options everywhere. If you listen to the great music, that's just another pop song, whether it's a blend by a great singer, country and western or whatever. It's music, and maybe you dance to it if it's got a beat. But but if you listen to the riff in Hotel California, you want to hear that again and again and again. It brings you back because it gives you goosebumps. So right away, we're saying, you better bring your brain along, not just your data-driven shots of 350 yards off the tee, followed by a 7-iron, 235. No, that's not going to work here. Big greens, but lots of contour and slopes on the outside. So, for example, number 8, you could play, if the flagstick was in the back, you could throw it past the flagstick and let it run back toward the green. That's outdoor pool or snooker. You use the cushions of the thing. That was intentional. Punch bowl green on number 12. You could have many options to approach. Let's suppose the flagstick was back left and your ball was front right. Very strong contour. You could put it at the hole. You could put it to the left of the hole, it would come in. You could put it to the right of the hole. You could go beyond the hole. Even on an approach putt, you had 4 different options. Number 4 is a par 5 that's going uphill slightly, but it only rises slightly, but you can cross the fairways are very wide. You play far left, and it's a gentle contour. You play to the right in the short distance. If you want to go at the green and 2, you might get an uneven lie or even in the sand. But when you turn around after 4, you come straight downhill. That's a strict examination of your game. Hit it straight and hit it straight again are the 2 hardest shots in golf. Okay, you hit it in a narrow area, so the brackets at around the 280, 290 mark off the back tee. But then you play downhill, and you get a big advantage playing down. You see what to do. It's got this little tiny bunker in front of the green. Only one little tiny bunker. You got wastelands everywhere. But so your approach shots should be easy. Wrong. It's got a kind of a horseshoe green. You have to play to the correct side of the green, or you don't even have a direct line. Now you go 6, which is not an easy hole either, and then you turn around and play up, and you've got these 2 hummocks, and it looks like a sea of sand waste, and you can cut off as much as you can chew. You can almost get to a sand wedge shot if you go down the right side, but you're playing with danger. So it's changing direction, changing elevation, changing bunker patterns, which we invented, changing approach shots from each hole. Each one, as Mackenzie said, each has its own character, distinct from another, and there is no repetition here. This is the first tee, played as the number 1 hole, straight toward the Puget Sound, way in the distance. This tee is what I call a ribbon tee. You see how it is shaped in a natural way, and then you have the tee markers, which are on relatively flat spaces, but look at all this place it isn't a tee, and then runs on. And then the tee itself is not flat. It's pitched, say, from the left to the right. So if I'm going to put a tee marker here and I decide I want to hit a hook, I'm going to turn the shot this way. If I'm left-handed, now I'm above the ball and I might slice it into that dune over there. So already on the first tee, even before you're playing, you have to think about what you're doing. And this is the nature of Chambers Bay. It's a very thought-provoking course, because if you don't think, watch me, I'm in your backswing. This is one vast double fairway. Where do you see this? The 1st and 18th hole at the old course in St. Andrews. So the concept of a 1st and 18th hole being one vast field comes from the most famous course in the world, the old course at St. Andrews. But here it's more contoured. There it's pretty flat. This green is an extension of the flow of the fairway. It's the same profile level as the entrance, maybe slightly above on the right side and maybe slightly below, and quite a bit below on the left. So it is not an element of its own. It's a continuation of the fairway. That's the ancient game. The ancient game, they had no greens. It was the fairway. You used both the aerial and ground game. And when these courses, when the greens are at 13 or so speed, you really have to lay short. And because the green in this case is falling away from you slightly from the fairway and to the left. So where the flagstick is, if you head a little left, that's a drainage swale to get the water away. When I stood out here with Justin Rose during the practice round in 2015, he hit a ball, and the flag was essentially where it is right now. And he asked me where to hit it. I said, well, if you hit it at the flag, it's going to go left down the green side. And if you hit it slightly to the right in that crease where the green meets the slope, it'll dribble. If you hit it too high on the hill, it'll ricochet and go down to the bottom. And if you hit it right at the flag to the right, it might go all over the back. He actually got up and hit 3 or 4 shots and did each of them precisely to test that message. That's how good these guys are. But he was learning what the ball would do when it landed. That was the unpredictability. In most tour courses, the greenskeeper and the tour itself thinks birdies and eagles is what brings the crowd out. So they make it receptive. Our side, we were testing the best players, and we did not want them to have an easy time. We wanted to understand the actual ricochet when the ball landed on the ground. So it's in the air and for a while, and then it lands. What happens on the ground game is the essence of Chambers Bay. The 12th hole, which was at one point designed from more forward as a par 3, but I don't like blind par 3s, especially uphill blind par 3s, because I had 3 holes in one and I've never seen them go in because 2 of them were uphill. Kind of personal, but that's the way it is. So I pulled the tee back to here and back behind it even, and made it kind of quasi-hidden, narrow fairway in amongst the dunes, but it's clear where you have to go. You can see the flagstick, and you see where the player in blue is. Just beyond him, there's a bunker, and you see the notch in the hill. You see the bunker face in the green grass, and then the bunker has a notch in it. So if you see that, that's your line, and directly behind it is the blind green. So even though it's blind, I give you a cue of where to play. And people choose to either lay up, as these players have done, or go to the green. The green is a punch bowl. A punch bowl in the old Carnoustie time was a round green to catch the water. Because in the summertime in August, it might not rain for 5 weeks, and that was the only irrigation they had from the sky. There was no system for 400 years. So this is a little different tee. You're down in a hollow and you're playing uphill. And even the tees are awkward because it forces you to play uphill into the wind. All of that's thought out, and it's unexpected. It's not predictable. But you're coming out of this chute and it's quasi-blind. You can go far left and the ball will kick right. You see this forward bunker. It looks like it's detached and it does not bracket or guard the green, but in fact, you land short of the screen or even the far left a little bit, it's gonna gather, and that's called a gathering bunker. It gathers shots off the fairway, like a drain gathers water. So you get to 14 and you're heading home. You're heading downhill, beautiful vistas. Everybody likes a downhill tee shot, who doesn't? But you have all these choices. Play way right to a flat fairway, it's very wide, and now you've got a long iron to a green far into the wind and downhill, but you see what you have to do. Or you can challenge any portion of this sandy waste, but you turn it over, you got trouble. And then you have a much shorter shot into the green. Green is fairly contoured, as most of the greens are, so you have to get it close to the flagstick. So probably best if you have the guts to go left, hit a short shot in, rather than play right and have a lottery of how far you are. The center bunkers are a rare thing. This is a very wide fairway, but we put the bunker in the center and then we deepened it for the US Open. So if you get in it, you have to get out of it and you lose a shot. It's a penal bunker. But so you have to make a choice. Do I want to play safe right? Do I want to take on the bunker, which some people do, but you'll be penalized, or do I want to play left where the guy with the clubs are and go in avoid the sandy waste, or if you push it, you're in the bunker. So that's just the first of your choices. Then the next is club selection to an open entrance green, in which it depends where the flagstick is, but you can see the whole hole standing on the tee. If you've never been here before, it should engage your mind. Receptive fairway, but it's weaving like a snake. So you have to really pick your shot and your angle. That's not hard, but if you want to hit it far, you have to stop the ball before it goes into the next bunker. That was added for the Open, and the bunker to the left was here before. The second bunker was indented more, so it gives a snake-like control, which means you have to have distance and control. And in the second landing area, suddenly there's this deep pot bunker. This is called Chambers Basement. It was invented by Mike Davis, then executive director. And imagine your ball down in that, and you're just trying to get it out, much less get it to the green. He never wanted a US Open finished on a par 5 with an eagle. Never had happened before. So this was his way to actually make sure that didn't happen. heavily contoured green. It's a big green, like the 18th green at Pine Valley is large, but you got to get in the right level. Right now, is a hump up and over, is behind a bunker. In the time of the Open, all that rough was very high, and the flagstick was in the back left. I'm going to putt sort of toward where the flagstick was for the Open, okay? And you got to hit it hard, but not too hard. Look how much that broke. That is perfect. Oops, oops. I just won the Open. I think that went in. I made an eagle. Mike Davis will be very unhappy. The flagstick was close to that. But you see how hard it is to get with heavy contoured green on a par 5. The game hasn't ended when you're on the green. It just begins, the short game. And that's when Opens are won and lost, the last putt. As it turned out here, Spieth made his. Dustin Johnson did not. What I think defines what is a very good golf course is, one, not the experts who are critiquing it, because that's fashion, and people tend to follow other fashion, but whether or not you as a player want to, as soon as you finish the course, want to have a quick bite and go out again. And oh, the course is calling me back. And you go have another 18 or 9 or whatever you want to play. And that's the essence of a good golf course, in my opinion. And it could be any kind of a course. It could be, as in Ireland, on a windy, rainy day, and it still calls you back. Or it can be in Palm Springs on a sunny, wonderful day, and it calls you back. If it calls you back, that's a good golf course. In the United States, I think there are about 16 million active players. So the game is growing in interest and worldwide, but there are not very many courses that are as flexible as this, where no housing exists, none. It is not done for commercial reasons. It's done for the game of golf itself, in a park setting.
We have a dog park, we have a walking trail, we have a playground, a beach access, we have a clubhouse, so it gives them something to do. But it's just sort of cool that they gave Pierce County the autonomy to do that, or they gave Robert Trent Jones direction to do that, so that everybody could enjoy this. If you're a non-golfer, right, you could be playing golf, but you could have people walk this trail every day, and they don't even really know what golf or understand golf is, so they're enjoying the same piece of land and being able to walk around and exercise and get the same benefits that a golfer is getting. They're just not hitting the ball, and it does attract people from off the trail to come in and, okay, let me go see what this place is all about.
This course is an open to the public course. This is not just for experts. This is not for only the musicians of the orchestra. This is for fans. And they come here from long distances. It's on their bucket list. And not only from the United States, but from the entire world. When they get here, they can speak different languages, but the course speaks one language to them. Play me, and play me again, and play me again, and play me again. Keep dancing with me, and maybe you'll learn my character.
Let's go.
One more mulligan. Anyway, it's okay. One to the right, one to the left, and you could be a U.S. Congress.
I said no more empty glasses or even half full. When the world see that we blessed more than a handful. That's why you can't put your finger on it. We got the touch. Never perfect, living with purpose, that be us. Open the curtains, we give the real like behind the scenes. We give the heart in our chest and wear it on our sleeves. I don't lend my clothes, so you know it's really me. I cop that, so I rock, that's how it really be. But metaphorical, speaking my piece, that when I do